Fellow car enthusiast, we have a big problem. Craigslist is now charging $5 per automotive for sale ad, and it's already having huge effects on how we buy and sell cars. Stay tuned because I'm going to detail all the effects this small but massive change is going to have on the car community. Welcome everyone to another episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive. And if you're a fan of this channel, there's a good likelihood that you are a car enthusiast. And if you are a car enthusiast, there's a really good likelihood that you've spent a lot of time on Craigslist. Whether it's buying a car, selling a car, or just wasting away your life like me, just browsing Craigslist aimlessly because I love to browse Craigslist. Why is Craigslist so popular in the car community? Well, because it's been free. And I keyword on been free, like it is no longer free. They are now charging $5 to post automotive for sale ads. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about all the effects that this is already having, and it's only been a couple days in. So I want to start with throwing some numbers at you to kind of give you some background as to how big of a deal I think this is, and at least give you some data that's going to, in my opinion, back up this. So what I did was I went through and added up all of the for sale ads from April 14th. April 14th was the last free day on Craigslist, free day for automotive for sale ads. April 15th is when they made the switch over to charging $5 per sale ad. So basically what I was trying to do was see how much volume were they having beforehand, before when it was free, and how much volume of posts are they having after, once they had once they were enforcing the $5 per sale ad. And what I found was on April 14th, there were 470 cars roughly in the for sale by owner section in my area. Okay, this is just the Cincinnati area, but it should be probably pretty indicative of the rest of the country. So 470 cars when it's free. The day after, April 15th, when they started charging $5 per ad, it was down to 85 cars. 85. That's less than 1/5 the amount of cars that there were the day before when they started charging. So you could already tell that, like, if that many less people are going to post on Craigslist, there's going to be significantly less sellers going there. There's going to be significantly less buyers going there. 1/5. That's so where are these people going? Well, we're going to answer all that, but first we need to talk about Craigslist as a company to kind of get like a background of where they came from, how they generate revenue, and then we can get into kind of all the effects that this is going to have on the car community. You see, Craigslist is kind of a weird company, and it's a weird company because it's really lasted 25 years without completely selling out. You know, and I say weird because in this day and age, anytime someone comes up with a good idea on the internet, it's only a matter of time before they sell out and a bigger company buys it and ruins it. See dig.com, case in point. Now, Craig Newmark is the guy that founded Craigslist or started it or whatever you want to call it. He has been true to his mission statement for almost 25 years that he just wants to put out a really good product and he's not worried about like complete overall revenue. Once again, this is a weird concept in this day and age, but Craigslist to date has really only made money on a few niche areas. They've charged for job postings. So like if you post a job on Craigslist, I think it's like $25 or something like that. And then in a few niche areas like New York housing, they were charging a certain dollar amount per posting. And this was enough. There's enough volume that they were able to support all their infrastructure with those like little niche things. And I think in order to really put this into perspective, you have to really think of the big picture. When I say he hasn't sold out, I mean, according to Amazon.com or Alexa.com, which is owned by Amazon, Craigslist is the 20th most popular website in the USA. The 20th. That is so far up there. And the amount of unique visitors they have per month is like absolutely astronomical. So from an advertising point of view, even if they posted one ad on their website, they would just be making killer money. Okay. So like the temptation to sell this website out is just absolutely insane. And to date, they haven't done that. So that's a little bit about how they make money at Craigslist, because I was curious. I had no idea where their money was coming from, how they were paying for the infrastructure or anything like that. Now it's in the car space. What the hell does this have to do with cars? Well, The thing about Craigslist is that it is the de facto standard for private for sale cars. Now, there are other websites like Auto Trader, Car Gurus that are predominantly dominated by dealers because they have a bigger advertising budget and stuff like that. But if you sell your car privately, to date, everyone in the US at least has gone to Craigslist. But now that the sellers are going to have to post a $5 fee, they're probably a lot less likely to go to a place like Craigslist that charges money. And what's going to happen there? Well, this is a simple supply and demand equation. If I'm a seller, I have a product, and you're a buyer, you have to come to me in order to buy that product, right? So the product being the car. The buyers are just going to go wherever the sellers go. So we have to determine where all these sellers are going to go if it's no longer free on Craigslist for them to post. And here's really where I think the first major problem is that not only are folks going to go away from Craigslist, but we don't know where they're going to go. So they're going to get super, super dispersed. Having people go to various different websites, whatever their flavor is or whatever they know about is going to be the biggest problem, because as a buyer, for most of us that are buying cars, it's going to be a nightmare to try and find these cars, because you're going to have to search places like Auto Trader, Car Gurus, or even the worst, Facebook. God, I hate trying to find cars on Facebook. It's just an absolute nightmare. And let's talk about that next, because Facebook is free and probably the biggest of all of these websites that I've mentioned, that's probably where primarily most people are going to go. Now, Facebook. I despise this company because of their quest for basically world domination, and they're doing a very good job of it, unfortunately. But as I get off my soapbox, if we look away from all of the sort of agenda that Facebook has, there is still a fundamental problem with buying and selling cars on Facebook. And that's just because the overall user interface and the overall ability to search for cars is just absolute trash compared to Craigslist. Like, it is so much harder to find a car on Facebook than it is on Craigslist. So the first thing that I can just think of off the top of my head is that you can't increase the search radius for your cars for more than 100 miles on Facebook. So it's impossible to search nationwide for a car if you're willing to travel for a car. This is a big deal for me, because if I'm looking for a specific car, I'm looking for a very specific car, and there's probably a high probability that that car is not going to be in the Cincinnati area where I live. And then you have things like where when you do a search on Facebook, it's not really showing you the results like in order. There's clearly some algorithm going on behind there as to what post Facebook thinks you should see. So, I mean, if you are a power user and you are used to browsing Craigslist, it's not the same. Like, you're getting sort of like this interpreted form of results. It's not exactly one-to-one of all the cars in your area for that specific keyword. So I'm not a fan of that. And the worst part, bar none, are the people on Facebook, because look, you're not going to end up on Craigslist accidentally. Like, you go to Craigslist because you want to buy a car. But people browse Facebook all the time, just like checking their timeline or whatever the hell they're doing on Facebook. Now, they might get served in their timeline your ad, even though they're not looking for a car. And they might hit you up because of that and ask you a bunch of stupid questions, even though they have no intent of buying the car. That is far and away the worst part of Facebook. And I've already made a video talking about this. We've already discussed, everyone knows is this still for sale? If you've ever posted something on Facebook, you've gotten the is this still for sale like 1 million times. And it's absolutely infuriating. Out of every time I've used Facebook, I've never had a solid lead, and I've only had people waste my time. Facebook sucks, end of rant. So that's the biggest problem, is that these cars are going to end up in all these different websites. I mean, Facebook's probably primarily where most of them are going to end up, just because it's free and everyone knows about it. But there's also websites like Let Go, which is more similar to Craigslist, but it really just kind of promotes you to just take one photo of what you're selling and put like a really terrible description, and then people will contact you. It's just, these are bad sales models. Craigslist is the best place to buy and sell cars, but it really sucks that they're going to drive away a ton of traffic by charging $5 per post. But If Craigslist does survive, and I really, really hope it does, I hope people are willing to pay the $5. There is one positive to charging $5, and that is it will reduce the amount of spamming and scammers on Craigslist for sure. I mean, what's worse than like you see the same car posted every day with a slightly different title just to get around the the Craigslist algorithm, so they could post it every single day. It's super annoying, and obviously all the scammers. Now, we've seen scams all the time on Craigslist. They're not going to be able to afford $5 per post because they're posting thousands of posts and just hoping to get one person to respond. So it's not going to be a good business model for them anymore. They're going to move on. So hopefully, if there is one positive to this change with the $5 charge, it's that there are no more scammers or spammers on Craigslist. The last unintended event of this $5 charge on Facebook is one that's very near and dear to my heart, and maybe not most of you, but I know a lot of you like cheaper cars like I do. If you've watched some of my older videos, I like to do a lot of events with $500 cars where you buy a $500 car and try and do a ridiculous challenge with it. This is going to be so much harder to find that kind of stuff on Craigslist. Just because if it's a $500 car, $5 is a lot more money than if it's a $20,000 car. Like $5 in the grand scheme of a $20,000 car is absolutely nothing, but you know, $5 in the case of a $500 car, you might think about it, right? It's still a small percentage, but you might think about it, and you might be just less likely to post a cheaper car on Craigslist. That's the part that I'm really bummed out about. I'm not going to be able to find these without backs of the world on Craigslist anymore. Cheaper cars may go to other avenues like Facebook, once again, if they are going to sell them online. It's not looking good in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I love Craigslist, but you guys need to let me know in the comments below what you guys see happening with Craigslist. And more importantly, I would like to know, are you willing to pay the $5 to post there? Or are you going to go and try and find another free source? I think for now, I'm selling a car soon. I'm not going to tell you guys which one. You'll have to stay tuned for that. But I'm selling a car soon, and I plan to pay the $5 on Craigslist because I still think a lot of people, at least buyers, are still going there because it's still the standard. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this change. Is it a money grab? I don't know. Time will tell, right? Time will tell. So if you guys want to follow me in between episodes, you could check me out on Instagram at Eat Sleep Drive TV. I got another video coming up next week where I fix a broken car. You could probably guess which one that is. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Eat Sleep Drive.